what kind of style of Counter-Strike they bring into the scene, you know, because we talk about Asia as a whole, and our gameplay is very aggressive. It's we push W, we go and fight, we win the shots, and then we get outsmarted usually.
Yeah,
or
the
choke.
classic.
You know, we choke.
Or we choke. Or we choke. That's unfortunately what happened to Cardinal.
Yep. So for me, I will see maybe the Vietnam team, because the Vietnam team, they are actually coming in as a replacement for VTM Galactic Zone. So for them, they really do not have anything to lose. So for me, they can actually play their best Counter-Strike and probably spring an upset or two.
Okay. I mean, just looking at the teams, you know, MITH, made in Thailand, of course. You know, I think it's been a while since we've seen them. It's been at least a few years, and I think they themselves have also recently come in as a team. You know, but they are not, they're not nobody. You know, everybody here has the talent to play, individually talented, and I do have some names that I can recall. You know, like Rolex, now currently playing in the team of MITH. But the thing is, being a team like Nemesis, you know, you don't really have that much time to prepare as a team to get the chemistry in together. So I'm interested to see what they can bring here into the tournament, because we all know in the likes of Southeast Asia, the Thailand players, they can aim.
Yeah, no, I mean, back when I was competing in my own esport, yeah, that was basically the case, right? It was they're so aggressive, and again, when their comms are live and they're going through, they can be just as rowdy as like the OCE teams, right? And again, it all depends on how they want to kind of approach the game, right? Again, we say they could be aggressive, but who knows? They might pull off something crazy. They might pull off more defaults than we could ever expect, right? And being on the land position might shift things, right? It might slow things down. They don't want to give away too many of their strategies away, you know, from all the different factors that kind of surround this environment in this stadium here, or in this room here. And yeah, it's just the Thailand players, fair shot, honestly. It's fair game for, I think, a lot of these teams.
Yeah, and even looking back at the last notable CS LAN that was in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, Myros and Rolex, they were in that squad that actually made it to the finals over here in WESG. So for them actually still being in the Thailand #1 team and still having a chance to represent in the Odyssey Cup 2025, I think that will show that, yeah, I mean, this Thailand team, they are no slouches and we can't really sleep on them. If we actually take them lightly, I think we might just get destroyed by
steamrolled. You know?
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say it's very similar to the rest of the teams here. I mean, it's the top teams in their own respective country. But I want to know what happened in Indonesia. You know, usually we see Alter Ego, but this time around we're not seeing them here today. It's someone else, a whole different team.
Yep, they actually lost out to
Deep Cross Gaming, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they actually won the first map and then they lost the second and the third map. And the third map, they were actually down 11-6. But Cross Gaming, they actually made a fantastic comeback on Ancient to actually punch their ticket all the way here to Malaysia.
God damn. I think that's one of the things. You know, you take out the big dogs, but you know, Alter Ego, you know for a fact that they have the line experience. They have the experience as a team. You know, Deep Cross Gaming, I'm not sure about their history, but you know, coming to a whole different country, we'll see whether or not they can, you know, perform under this pressure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pressure is on all of these teams coming in, and I think I kind of want to highlight the topic about the map pool, right? Map has completely shifted in terms of the past few months, right? Even right now with the Budapest major going on, every single team has kind of swapped up their map and everything they've been picking out, right? We're seeing more train, we're seeing more overpass. Anubis is gone, right?
Yep.
Anubis was such a highly picked map before just to be a surprising factor for a lot of these teams. And then, you know, standardized Dust 2 goes straight to the EU side, usually the EMEA side mostly. So a lot of the other teams didn't really play Dust 2 afterwards, and then Ancient and Mirage start to become the consistent third mappers or the first mappers.
Yeah, because, I mean, ever since, I mean, if we look back for about 2 years, there's always one map that, in general, all the teams don't like. Like, it was Vertigo at one point, and then it was...
Don't remind me.
But now, in this current map pool, there's basically two map pools that they either have to veto out Train or Overpass. So if you actually do not play one or you do not play both, it could be a disadvantage to the teams that actually play both of these maps. We just look at the #1 team in the world free round. Why? Because they have a good overpass and a good train. And yeah, you can just ban out the classic Mirage, Dust to Inferno, and yeah, take it to somewhere a little bit more technical where you need some skill set, some utility, teamwork to actually play and win rounds instead of just raw aim firepower duel like our classic Dust 2.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing about Mirage as well, how it's kind of done its evolution is also kind of strange, right? It's usually we've had Dust 2 as the prime aim map, now it's become Mirage, and it slowly started to shift that way along with the player base as a whole, right? We started seeing it in just the usual rank back in CSGO before CS2, and then when CS2 kind of came out, Faceit kind of followed as well, with everyone else playing there, started kind of really defaulting to Mirage. I would say now the default pickup for a lot of teams is Ancient, because Ancient has started to become one of the more flexible map for a lot of teams, right? It fits so many different playstyles. You can go fast, you can go slow, you can go for different kind of split takes and everything. Ever since the skybox kind of opened up as well for a lot of these maps, you can do your setups quite fast from your spawn, and you can just play around with so many different windows and timings.
Yep, I mean, Ancient is definitely one of the maps that I think will be picked a lot during this tournament because, yeah, it is basically, I think, a fair ground. It was like the last time Mirage. Or if we want to settle things, if it's 1-1, I think, yeah, Ancient is the place that normally would decide things.
Yeah, I think that used to be Inferno,
Yeah.
Back then, back in the days, I guess, the CSGO days, you'd have maybe a Mirage, you'd have a Dust 2, let's say, and then the third map, the decider is always going to be Inferno. Nowadays, we see a lot of Ancient, and I'm hoping to see a lot of Ancient because during the qualifiers, at least in my experience, watching the Malaysian qualifiers, we saw Bayman Esports get extremely aggressive. Whether or not they're on the CT side, they just full-on take control of the tunnels. They want to get that early positioning and just kind of take away map control from the T side, and they do a very, very good job of that. I'm excited to see if they can keep that form up, and I'm excited to see how the other countries, the teams, do a similar kind of play style, I guess.
Yeah, because, I mean, just to bring up Bayman again as the example, right? They were such on a different level in that qualifier. It kind of made everyone that was playing there look like they were just several years back in comparison, right? From mechanics to strategy, right? There's a reason why this is the core team that's here today, right? And not only that, the way that they played, right, hides so much, right? In the online qualifier, depending on the kind of matchup, depending on the kind of teams that you're getting in to sign in, right? You don't know. It could be some team just having their chance for fun, and then the actual pros coming in, wanting to shoot their shot up at stardom and try and really persevere and go through and punch through into a higher tier, right? So for Bayman, they're hiding their strat. It's basically, let's save the strat, guys, for the finals, because they won't know. And again, I think, there's like 7 other teams that are probably going to do that as well.
Yeah, I think most of the qualifiers was a little bit straightforward.
Yeah.
I think maybe the only one that actually had some good finals, it was basically the Australia, where both of the teams actually met. And also the Indonesian qualifiers where, what was that team?
Wolfgang?
Yeah, no. That's the Philippines team. Team Deep Cross actually beat out Team. Yeah, that was only basically the 2 games that actually went to 3 maps, or it was a little bit close. Other than that, basically they were just stomping over their opponents in the final. But it was just a national qualifier, and this is the regional LAN, and I don't think that kind of result will actually replicate itself on this kind of stage. You can't just run through your opponents. I mean, maybe you can try a round or 2, but eventually it will be punished compared to previously. So I'm just really looking who can actually keep up this aggressive game style, because this kind of things actually can win you games, can actually win you tournaments.
Yeah, the thing as well, right, when you're in this setting, and you don't really know who you're fighting, you don't know your opponents, you don't really know who might be, the IGL, the voice of the team, because as we know, there can be multiple voices in one team, right? And whether that's good or bad can be decided on game day, right? And how their structure will move them forward. But there's this next level kind of mind games that the IGLs are going to have. Like, all right, what's this guy going to be thinking about, right? They're basically playing chess in the server,
definitely.
right? Strategy. Throw a strategy. Let's throw a rush. Let's see what happens. How would they react? Let's slow things down. Let's see how they react, right? And that kind of ping pong really am excited to fight for. Because, like you said, right, it doesn't reflect their proper, true way of actually coming through into the games, right? So it can be very, very different when things go live.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, just insane, guys. But we're gonna be here for the next 3 days. It's gonna be insane. If you guys are in the area, if you guys are in Selangor, KL, you do drop by Cool City Mall. But nonetheless, we have been your panelists. That's gonna be end here for now. We're gonna pass it back here to Priscilla on stage.
All right, thank you so much to Face, Lot, and Trevor. Now, it is finally the time you guys have been waiting for. Please, let us welcome our regional finalist team representatives to the stage. With the first team going up to be Indonesia Deep Cross Gaming. And coming up next, the first Oceania qualifiers, Ground Zero Gaming. And for the second representative for Oceania, Semperfi Esports. And next, let's give it up to Oasis Wolfgame, hailing from Philippines. And next up, representing Singapore, let's give it up to Team Nemesis Asia. And the Thailand powerhouse, made in Thailand. Representing Vietnam, let us welcome Galacticos. And finally, protecting our turf from Malaysia, let us welcome Bayman Esports. Now, gentlemen, welcome to the stage. The qualifiers are over, and we will decide who you fight today. Now, before that, let's take a look at our bracket over right here, which is still empty. Now, let us kickstart our first segment of the day and welcome the honored guests from Samsung Electronics. Let's give it up to Mr. Marcus Tan, Region Product Marketing of Samsung Electronics, as well as Mr. Chester Ong, Regional Product Manager of Samsung Electronics, to the stage. Now, gentlemen, are you guys ready? Of course, we are amped up and get ready to showdown. Now, I would like to introduce Mr. Marcus Tan to do the first honor for the first match draw. Now, let's see who is the first up. And it is Deep Cross Gaming. Now, can I have the captain right to the front of the stage? And then, for the second team, who would they face? And it is, dun, 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 made in Thailand! Now, Captain, it is time for you guys to do a face-off. May the odds be ever be in your favor, they say. Thank you, Mr. Marcus Tan, for doing the honors. And now, I would like to introduce Mr. Chester Ong to do the second match draw. Now, the first team is Semperfi Esports. Can I have the captain to the front of the stage? Thank you. And now, who will they face? We're getting nervous right here. Very, very nervous. I can feel the energy right here. And then it is Nemesis Asia from Singapore. Oh my god. Now this is gonna be interesting. Now they're doing a face off with a brotherly hug to each other. And thank you to the captains. Thank you so much to our honored guests from Samsung Electronics. And you guys can see we already have the first half of the brackets in here. Now we would like to introduce our next honored guest. First up is Miss Adeline Tay, Head of Marketing TCP Red Bull Malaysia, as well as Kim Koh, Senior Brand Manager for TCP Red Bull Malaysia. Ladies, welcome to the stage. And now I would like Miss Adeline Tay to do the honors for the third match draw. And the team would be Malaysia. It is Galacticos. Can I have the captain to the stage? Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Miss Kim Koh for the second team. Malaysia. Guess Miss Adeline wants Malaysia really bad right now. And it is Ground Zero Gaming. Alright, face off. Just a simple handshake. May the odds be ever in their favor. Thank you, captains. And now, as you can see, the remaining ones are... Can I have the brackets on the screen, please? Thank you very much. Now the remaining is... Can I have the bracket on the screen? I think we'll let them open up. The next one will be Oasis Wolfgang versus Bayman Esports. Now you guys are the last team, and I would say may the odds be ever in your favor, and let's have a face-off. And thank you so much to our VIPs. Thank you so much to all of our teams right over here. And that marks as today's final draw. Now before I pass it on to our dear panels, I would like to give a big shout out to our sponsors. TT Racing, Logitech, Samsung, Red Bull, Asahi, and many, many more. They are actually giving out prizes as well as goodie bags tomorrow here at Cool City Mall Level 6. So if you're up to something big or you want to, maybe change up your gear a little bit with the Logitech's brand new gear equipment, or maybe Samsung's OLED monitors, you know where to be now. And without further ado, I would like to pass it back on to our dear panels.
All right, thank you so much for that, Priscilla. And yeah, do come down if you want to get yourself some prizes. That 500 hertz monitor that's OLED, kind of crazy. It's like looking through a window, like I mentioned so many times. But the teams are set. Everyone has who they maybe want to face or maybe not want to face, depending, right? But matchups are there. What are you thinking?
There is a couple of standout matches for me, to be exact. The one that I actually really want to pick out is Amplify against Nemesis Asia. Yeah, so that for me, I think will be the highlight of the first round. So yeah, I guess. So basically, these teams have less than 24 hours to go back to actually think.
True.
How do we play this chess game? Do we want to play to our advantage, or do we want to take off their best maps from them? So,
yeah. I guess it's either you come up with strats yourself to go for it, or you anti-strat against them. It's not a lot of time. I don't think it's even 24 hours. We're going to be playing in the morning tomorrow. We got less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I definitely, that match, I think that Nemesis and Simplify, probably one of the better matches to watch out for. I'm going to be super excited to see that one through. And I'm just excited to see the firepower these two teams can bring, because individually, incredible. Nemesis Asia, they've got Impression already. Just himself is a beast to deal with. He's been in the scene for quite some time. He's got the experience. He can definitely spread it here across the team, and we'll see whether or not Semperfi can hold up against that for sure.
Yeah, very excited to see what they can now finally start to realize against their opponents, right? What they can start prepping for, possible aggression, possible non-aggression, defaults, non-defaults. It can be anything, because we won't really know until we see it, even then, until the game day, right? And not only that, I want to bring up just the fact that, like, okay, now that everyone kind of has settled in, now we're going to be thinking, all right, first game of the day is going to be quite early in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're morning people yet, right?
No.
That could be one. That could be a factor.
Yep.
Gamers,
We
right?
normally gamers, we start in the evening towards the late morning, not
Right.
like early in the morning. So yeah.
There was that whole funny like little like article with like Monacy having like a slump because he swapped up his timing because he was like such a night demon, and then he had to turn to a morning demon. It just caused him to slump. And I don't know, could affect the players the same way, right? We don't wake up early, but I'm kind of interested to see the Bayman versus Oasis one, just because I think time and time again I've seen so much Malaysian versus Philippines matchups, and it's always very very fun in between those teams, and I like to see what kind of styles are gonna conflict with each other or thrive with each other, right? It's either mahal kita or kita very mahal.
Yeah, either way. So this Odyssey Cup, it will be taking place from tomorrow Friday all the way to Sunday. Quill City Mall, Kuala Lumpur. If you're around KL, do head down. We have nice seats for you to actually watch the game live. I think the game will go live from 12 p.m. tomorrow, because
Yeah.
we have the opening ceremony at about 11. So yeah, tomorrow we will have the games all the way up to late evening or maybe night. So if you're around KL, you can drop by and check out all these 8 teams battling out for a prize pool of $50,000 US. That's a lot of money, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, 20,000 USD first place, and the thing is, they've got a lot of these titans that they've got to go up against. Top teams here from all across this region, and I'm just excited to see. Probably, I think it was the first game. I think made in Thailand up against the likes of
Deep Cross, yeah.
Deep Cross. Oh, that's going to be insane. I mean, Deep Cross themselves.
That is a regional battle. I mean, Thailand and Indonesia has been going against each other in esports for God knows when. So this is
A
the
lot of
best
pressure.
way to actually kick off our event. Yeah. And then one more thing, we have actually also split up both the Oceanic teams. So if they were to actually win up their games, they could actually meet in the upper bracket final. That could be something interesting as well. But that is way long way more before we get to that. So we need to start it off. We need to see how they actually play on land. How can they actually show up to the server? Can they be a morning person and do the right thing tomorrow? Yeah. So all these kind of factors will come into play tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the thing. It's a LAN environment. You're not in the comfort of your own home. Yes, you may have multiple games throughout the day, but where are you going to chill? If you're online, you play your first series, you take a break at your couch, on your bed, you take a nap. Here, I think fatigue eventually will catch up to you. And that's why I think we've got our sponsors, TCP Red Bull Malaysia. Thank you very much for supporting this event.
Yeah, definitely got to get energized here. Speaking of chill, I mean, hey, if anyone decides to come down here and they're early, even the players, if you're early, you guys can maybe snag the beanbag positions over there. There's some nice beanbags. You can kind of lay down and watch the games in pure comfort. I mean, come on, you can see the stage behind me is beautifully set up, the lights and everything, right? And again, possible factor into how they're going to be playing, right? So it's some of these players prefer their peace in their homes. There's nothing crazy happening around them in their peripheral vision. This is borderline overstimulating for some people, and that can instantly dip your performance, right? And again, that's a true test of if you really want to be a proper player in this esport, or just a proper athlete in this esport, right? You have to deal with all these factors. You have to be able to adapt into everything that gets thrown at you in LAN environments, from the teams, anything.
Yep, I mean, that's being with the audio background music a little bit too loud and it's getting across your way, but the round is still being played and the round is still live. And you can't complain after that and say, hey, Your music was playing too loud and I didn't hear the opponent come in. Can you restart the round? That kind of thing doesn't happen in this kind of tournament. You have to play through whatever situation. Make it the best. Make it the worst. Even if your headset get disconnected during the round, you have to play it through the round. I mean, that's the normal rules of chess. Any pause will be before the round and, nothing during the round. So, yeah, all these kind of factors, whether they can play in a foreign country, whether they can play at 10 a.m. in the morning, or whether they can be as fresh as they were at 10 a.m. if their game is only at 4 or 5 p.m. But they already have to check in here at 10 a.m. So there's about 6-7 hours for them before actually getting to actually go on the PC and even play and warm up. So for them coming in whole and they need to play their best CS at that critical time, this is the most important factor for the teams doing well for this weekend.
I kind of want to bring up that we kind of missed out on. A lot of these teams, they are also kind of mixed in Nemesis is not actually fully Singaporean. It's two Singaporeans, two Philippine players, and one Kazakhstan players. I think is what I mentioned earlier in the first part. But the thing is, there are language barriers between some of these teams, right? And that can be such a thing to overcome. For Nemesis, Impression mentioned that, the 4 months that they've been working together, that's one of the things they've been trying to focus on a lot is just the language barrier. Anything that they can kind of get through in terms of their comms to try and clean it up fully, that is the most important thing that they can work on at the moment. Besides, getting their compatibility, which I think they're fine, and a lot of these players, I think, in terms of finding their positions and their roles, usually there shouldn't be too much conflict in that regard. But language barrier can definitely be one of those things that stops the team completely in their tracks.
Yep, definitely. So for me, I mean, is there any teams that you really, any caught your eye or caught your attention? For us fans that you could actually point out for a team that you actually look out for this tournament?
I'm not quite sure, but I think for me, like I said earlier, I'm going for Semperfi or GZ, any of the OCE teams. Yourself, before we close things off?
Yeah, I think the OCE teams, kind of curious to see what Impression has for the Singaporean side, and Bayman as well.
For me, I will go for our local Bayman and to see whether they can live up to.
Yeah,
the stage is nice, the country is here, so yeah, it's time for Malaysia to finally step up and do something on the big stage.
That's going to be all here for us on the panel list here. We're going to have to see tomorrow whether or not these guys are onliners or whether they can play LAN, guys. I'm FaZe, this is Lot Caliber, Trevor as well. We will see you guys tomorrow for match day 1.